Yes, Hairless here. Our recent Diana Ankudinova poll, it was tied between California Dreamin' and Sweet Dreams. So I get to choose. I love both songs, but I was in the mood for some The Mamas and the Papas. So today we have Diana's performance of California Dreaming. It's from a show called The Masked Singer. It's a show where competitors wear costumes and masks to reveal their identities from the judges. This performance, it's from 2023. This video, thanks to Kustas Vayas for uploading it, it's blurred. I imagine this is due to the copyright and it would be blocked otherwise. The same reason I've had to use heavy filters on some of my previous videos, but hopefully we can still make it out, and I guess we'll see if I have to blur it even further. Without further ado, let's get straight into it.
Brown, and the sky is gray. I've been for a walk, I went to stay. I'd be safe and warm if I was in LA. Dreaming on and such a winter's day.
Let's go.
All the leaves are burned in the sky.
Alright, well, there's a key change, significant other changes. What a costume as well, huh? Very cool, if we can see that there. Well, I mean, the performance is about 3 minutes long and we're about 1/3 of the way through. I want to do a first pause here. Some very interesting things that we've heard so far, particularly considering the original song. So if you don't want to hear my analysis, go to the timestamp. First things first, the key. This performance is in D. The original is in C sharp, both in the minor versions. D minor. It's one of my favorite keys. Now, the opening. In the original song, I love the opening. It's one of my favourite bits. I think it's sublimed, the guitar playing. Simple, yet intricate as well. Layered, even though there are very few parts. I really like it. In Diana's version, it's changed. Here it's choral with piano. Definitely modernised and simplified a bit, rhythmically especially. I imagine the purpose is to make her vocal entry when she comes in much more impactful. Also, it kind of sets the tone of the performance as a whole. So she enters and she's made a couple of changes to the melody. Diana is an artist who really does change her covers up quite a lot, which I really like about her.
All the leaves are brown.
So the first thing, the rhythms, the first note, all the leaves are brown. Longer first note, so the preceding notes are shorter. In the original, all the leaves are brown. Also the first note, the pitch of it, it's different.
All the leaves are brown.
She slides up slightly, but the note that she arrives on, it's the minor third. This one here, that makes it the minor version. So instead of that we get in the original, we now get. And it's quite bare. There's no beat, it's just piano chords. The emphasis is on downwards movement because the chords are descending. Further downward movement, this piano chord now has gone much lower. But then the emphasis of downwards movement is reversed because now we move up. If I go back a couple of seconds. It's more enlightening. The choral backing, quite angelic if you think of choirs of angels or something. They come in with homophonic chords, so they're all singing the same rhythms as each other at the same time. It's, yeah, I say angelic. It's almost kind of ritualistic, especially considering the aesthetic we've got going on. Definitely a sight to behold. And let's just go back about 10 seconds. Her voice as well. There it is, straight in with that shocking polyphonic type element thing that we get going on that makes her voice so unique.
When to stay.
We've got the percussion coming in, strings too, the violins. There's a very apparent idea of growth. And this then leads into
I'd be safe and warm if I
a move away from the homophonic chordal movement that we had before. We've got these nice arpeggiated figures in the piano that we got at the introduction as well, actually. They're more like an Alberti bass though, rather than arpeggios, which we are now getting.
warm if I were
Again, strings and kind of like the timpani sounding percussion coming in as she moves up to this A in her head voice, which makes the next time she sings this note, which I think is just after this, let's find it,
when you're there.
you know, with a nice little roll on it. It makes it even more big because it's the chest voice rather than the head voice. A lot to talk about just from the first minute or so. There was one bit as well when she sang the word California. Her vocals, I just want to have a listen here.
California dreaming.
So, in my first ever reaction to her, which was Can't Help Falling in Love, please do watch that if you haven't already seen it. Card for that will be up here. I think that was off screen. Up here. I said I thought there were vocals in the backing track, and other commenters have said that this has been confirmed through interviews, but I still receive a lot of comments saying, no, impossible, it's all just her voice. That's a different type of sound, this polyphonic type voice she has. So here on California, it sounds like her voice, there's some reverb applied to it or a similar effect. You can hear the K sound of California be slightly delayed.
California dreaming. California
There's multiple Ks. That's not possible through the polyphonic type element alone. There are also the polyphonic elements, as I pointed out earlier, which I always just think, I'll never get used to them.
I've been for a while.
It just makes my body seize up. And here on California, we hear it on the vowel sound, the ka, the ah part.
California dreaming.
So please, if you are thinking of commenting, no, you can only have one or the other. You can have the polyphonic natural voice sound and technological treatment or enhancement as well. And that's fine. And I think it's quite cool actually, because then the sound we get, it's more than just the human voice alone. It enhances the performance. And just after that, here on the words such a winter's day, we can hear other voices very distinctly.
I'm such a winner's day.
There's one which clearly has this melodic line, and Diana is here. So this additional voice is harmonizing with her in thirds,
Winner's day.
on top of more vocal cords underneath. Any audio engineers, please let me know what they've done here. To me, it just sounds like additional layers in the backing track, but it could be some live treatment. I hope what I've just said about my thoughts on the technological side, in addition to her polyphonic type voice, does not get changed or lost in translation. All right, well, this is where we got to. Let's continue. So far, we've seen growth, really. We've had a rise in pitches, exaggerated by the descent we heard in those piano chords. We have a textural thickening as well, so newer instruments have been introduced, and we've seen an increase in the rhythmic energy. So we've moved away from homophony to parts having their independent rhythms.
Let's go.
All the leaves are burned and the sky is gray. I've been for a walk on a winter's day. You know that picture of the girl. He knows I'm gonna stay. California dreaming love. I'm such a winner's day. I've been safe for a
Alright, we'll get back to that. What a cool arrangement and great performance, of course, but the arrangement, just everything. I won't be able to touch on everything, but the backing vocals, Alright, let's go back through this and I'll pick out the things that really stood out to me. From where we carried on, there was a key change.
All the leaves are burned.
So we've gone from D to C. It's also now accompanied by a beat, it's more lively, and because we moved down, she gets to show off her lower register a bit more, which we know is very, very strong.
And the sky is grey.
It's interesting because she's repeated the lyrics of the first verse. In the original, the second verse, the lyrics are stopped into a church, blah blah blah. I got down on my knees, I pretend to pray. So that would be I pretend to pray. But then she sings the second half of the original second verse. You know the preacher likes the cold. So I wonder if she was not allowed to sing those first two lines of the second verse. Stopped into a church, pretend to pray, because it's about the church and pretending to pray or praying, compared to some other arrangements of her covers that we've seen before. Things here, they're not changed too much harmonically. So overall, the chord structure, the chord progressions, the harmonies, they're the same. There are some little changes, such as the bass line.
All the leaves are burned, and the sky is grey.
So firstly, it's one note at a time. Dum, dum, dum. Instead of
Stopped into a church.
dum, 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 dum. But in terms of the actual notes,
I passed along the way.
the bass line moves back up. In Diana's version,
All the leaves are burned, and the sky is grey.
same note instead of moving up. Very, very subtle, but because it's the bass line, which I think is usually one of the more noticeable parts, it stands out to me. But overall, the harmony is still the same. On that note, I want to take a moment of appreciation for the original song. And because I love the harmonic progression in the original song, I'm very, very happy that she has kept it the same. The chords are so nice. Let's play them on the piano, transposed into the key that Diana started in. I do very much like her nuances and little changes just to make it her own. Here's an example on Winter's Day, the falling that she does. And then before the next entry, she waits for the nice bass part that you'll hear before she enters.
You know that picture.
Dum 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 dum.
You know that picture of the girl.
In the original at this bit, the voice comes in just before that bass part comes in. So by doing this, Diana has delayed her whole melodic phrase. By comparison, and especially if you're familiar with the original song, you might notice that it sounds a bit different. This is one of the reasons why, and it changes the whole sound. She's making it her own. We'll listen again and I'll just mime the original song where it would come in. The next kind of obvious thing is this section, her vocalizations. In the original song, this is an instrumental section. We hear a flute starting really low. And then it moves up. No vocals, purely instrumental. Diana is a singer, so she uses vocals here. For that reason, because such a big portion of the original song doesn't have vocals, this could be seen as an interesting song choice as well, probably one that not many people cover, not many singers cover. She does a similar thing. She starts low and then she moves high. And her voice at times kind of does sound like a flute as well. We do hear the flute melody in the backing track. So yeah, she moves high, but she doesn't just go high, she goes very high. So top C, that's really as high as your typical soprano is expected to sing. And we'd probably expect the melody to go, but she goes. Wasn't expecting that, just another little nuance and change that she's made. There was one bit, and I don't really know what's going on here. We can just straight up hear two vocal lines. a much higher flute part as she's moving down. I'm not sure why that is or what that is. And I like in these vocalizations without any lyrics, how she includes "I'll be safe and warm." Alright, let's carry on to the end. Very, very cool arrangement, isn't it? Oh Boże. Yeah, nice ending too. I mean, it's a great performance. I would have liked maybe a bit of a higher ending, either in her chest voice or her head voice, but she did both of them before, kind of reverted back to the original, much calmer. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Just a few final points, not too much more to say from that last third or so. There was a nice removal of the beat here. The crowd is still clapping though, which kind of diminishes the impact of it, but not by much because they stop. Oh Boże. Yeah, it's just very atmospheric. The music as well, again, this idea of growth, suspense building. And then we get this bit, kind of like a drop. That's different. It's not such a full sound, but it's very bass heavy. A bit more of a dirty, grungy sound. It's one for the bass face, as we call it. And I like how just before the end they kept in the repeated dissonant chord. Before the final resolution of that chord. If you bring the bass note up, well, there we go. I think let's leave that one there. I don't have much more to say. Really, really great performance, I think. And I loved the arrangement. I could sit here for hours and talk about it, but then I would not be able to do any more videos for days. Yeah, this is very cool. And the one that it tied with in my poll for Sweet Dreams by the Rhythmics, I believe that's also a Masked Singer performance. So if the standard is like this, very, very excited to check that one out. All right, let's leave that there. Thank you, as always, for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, want to support me, join the community and vote on future polls, you can do so by clicking on the Patreon link on screen now, and I will see you next time.